Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5 The Zone. Welcome in on a Monday morning. A lot of you ought to be happy because the Aggies and the Cougars and the Utes all won Saturday. Now, you're not all happy because a bunch of you wanted the other two to lose. But, that aside, strong performances. All three teams win. All three teams were favored to win. All three teams covered. All three teams won by double digits. Really wasn't a lot more you could ask for. So, let's hear the post-game reaction from the Aggies and the Utes and the Cougars. And let's start with the Utah State Aggies. Bronco Mendenhall wins the debut game, gets a huge performance out of Miles Davis. 8 carries, 131 yards, a couple of really big plays out of him. Here's the BYU transfer talking about how different things are playing at Utah State.
Miles, first of all, you got to tell us a little bit about your decision to come to Logan and to Utah State. And then was this the kind of game that you've been hoping that you could have as you've been kind of waiting your time?
Yes, sir. This is the game that I've been hoping for, but we've got to be greater than, not equal to. The thing that brought me to Utah State is the coaching staff, man. I love this coaching staff. I felt like it was my last year, and I wanted to spend it. I wanted to work hard. I knew this program, these coaches were going to push me to the limit that I can, get to. So, that's the reason why I came.
Is your ability to catch the ball and your ability to get yards after the catch, is that something of your game that you've always felt good about, but it just never had a group that really exploited it like Coach did tonight?
I feel like that's, something, but I feel like these coaches also helped me, get there. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I needed some things to work on, and I feel like Coach Gardner, the running back coach, and Coach Bronco, they pushed me to, get to that next level.
So you're down 7-3, and you get that little zone read off the left-hand hash, and what we saw was,
I thought you stepped out, Miles, but on the replay, your heel never went down,
never
man.
Came down. What did you see on that play?
What you mean? Like, what you mean?
On the touchdown run.
The touchdown run.
Oh, yeah, no, I just, I saw my O-line blocking really good for me, so I hit the hole and just tried to go. That was really it.
But to tightrope down that sideline, were you concerned at all that they were getting?
I didn't know. I'm gonna say it's the white cleats. That's what I'm just gonna say. I'm gonna say the white cleats that helped me.
Although, Miles, when we looked at the replay, you were running on your toes, and I assume that's something you always wanted to try to do, because that right heel, as you hit about the 40-yard line, it never came down.
Yes,
and
sir.
So you kept that toe up, or the toe down and the heel up, and you stayed in bounds.
Yes, sir. That's the track. That's the track workouts that we doing up here.
I love it. Hey, has this been one of your hardest off seasons in terms of training and from a physicality standpoint?
Yes, this is the hardest program that I feel like anybody can go through. I feel like we train literally like Navy SEALs, but it helps. It helps so much. It helps with the mental. It helps with the, just the athletic ability. It helps with so many things. It just, I feel like me as a player, I needed this.
When you get up 28-10 there in the third quarter, it started to started kind of getting stuck a little bit. I'm sure that's something that when you go back and look at film, you guys will kind of work on that. But talk about what you're talking about on the sideline to say, hey, listen, we still got to just keep out there executing and doing our best. But what are some of the things that you think you can do a little bit better as you go into College Station and Texas A&M next week?
I feel like it's the first game. The first game is always kind of shaky for guys, like over it's just NFL, like football overall. It's kind of shaky. So I think we got to just dial in on the fundamentals and go back and do our 111. And I feel like that would help us go to, College Station and do what we have to do.
For the first time in his career, Bryson Barnes starts the year as being the guy. What did you see out of him tonight, and what's his progression as a leader been like in this offseason going into this year?
Man, Bryson is different. Bryson is different. I feel like tonight he showed it. He showed tonight that he's a different type of, quarterback, and he's an athlete. And I feel like as a leader, he I don't know if you guys look at our social media page and stuff like that, but he's a true leader. Like, he's just a world-class athlete and a true leader. And what more can you ask for a quarterback more than that? So,
When you get up 28-10 there in the third quarter, it started to And Miles, talk a little bit about those guys up front. That a lot of them, getting some of their first action transfers coming in from other programs. Mm-hmm. How would you grade out your guys up front?
To me, they did they had 100%. Now, of course, there's some things that we have to work on, but to me, they did 100%. You know what I mean? So
there's Utah State running back Miles Davis. Now here's the head coach, Bronco Mendenhall.
Coach, first off, congratulations on getting the win. I'm sure that had to be fun to go to your locker room and say, hey, this is why we did all that work in the offseason for moments like this.
Man, I'm so grateful to be the coach at Utah State. The support that was displayed in our stadium, the herd, the students, our alumni, the community members. I'm grateful that I get to lead this team. I'm so thankful for how our players have allowed me to coach them, which that is a choice they make, and I'm thankful for the community just coming out to support. And I hope everyone that was here has hope and optimism and sees the direction and appreciates the effort that the team was playing with. And certainly it's gratifying. The coolest thing about being a head coach and a parent is seeing other people happy, and the ones that you're working with where they achieve their goals and they work so hard. And then you can see a reward that actually comes, and it kind of perpetuates all the difficult things you've been teaching and hoping that they would embrace. And so the locker room moments of seeing all the smiles and the young people that I care about so much just enjoying it, that's really fun.
Coach, welcome to Cache Valley. So excited to have you here.
Hey, is that my former teammate, Kevin White?
It is.
All right.
Some of your key pillars, you win the turnover battle.
Yep.
You get more yards per play.
Yep.
Some of those key things that you always talk about, you won all three of some of the biggest,
yep.
Including then of course scoring over 24 and holding under 24. So check. You had to be pleased with all those three pillars.
It was we're a process-oriented organization, and I'm a process-oriented leader. And so the leader's job is to set the vision, but also capture hearts and minds along the way, but also then give the right metrics so the players know that if you do this, right, the results over time have been this. And so each of those things you mentioned, we call them our pillars. I don't talk about them really openly or publicly, but each one of those predicts at a really high level over a 19-year career of being a head coach, what success will look like winning-wise. And so we focus simply on the process, never on the outcome, and that keeps us grounded in what really will make a difference. And it wasn't a game where we clearly pulled away, and it wasn't a game that you could say, man, we dominated our opponent. But what we did do was from quarter one to quarter four, we hit the key metrics we needed to. We stayed together, we were resilient, we made enough plays, and we played complementary football in a manner that yielded that, and that's really gratifying, and I think it will help our team. It just kind of cements or begins to cement the approach that we've been talking about.
Miles Davis has been looking for opportunities. We talk about Bryson Barnes being the guy, but you can tell Miles Davis was at a point where he really wanted to put his fingerprints on an offense, and I thought he was just outstanding tonight.
Miles Davis is an amazing young person. He is an exceptional young man. He's so grateful for this opportunity. He's just bright and hardworking. And this is a young man in transferring from BYU. He could not make his times. He couldn't finish his workouts in our program. And man, he from the winter through the summer, he has changed colors in our system. He has become one of the most elite conditioned players. He's working in terms of his goals. All of our players, right, we have a very clear mental process and fearless mind journals that we work through, and many times he's here before any of the coaches or anyone else, and he's just sitting by himself working on the mental approach and filling in his journal, and he's on a mission not only for himself but to help this team. And so it's really fun to see someone that has invested that much time, energy, and effort then be able to carry the load offensively, because he could not have when he first arrived, and he wasn't going to be a significant contributor right away. He wasn't fit enough to be able to do that, and that was the feedback he got. And man, he thanked us for that feedback, and he just worked like crazy. And to see him in game one be able to do that, just that smile I saw from him today, was, we both knew what it meant.
Yeah, you could tell as we talked with him here in the postgame how happy he was. Got a two-part question for you, Coach. The is it 87 new players? Is that the number?
That counts missionaries. And so those guys, when they come back, 36 new that were playing tonight, six first-time starters for Utah State. But, yeah, 87 includes the missionaries on a roster of 109.
Incredible. So, obviously, week one, not everything comes together, but evaluate your team. Maybe you'll need to wait till you see the film, but evaluate from what you just experienced how they're coming together here after week one.
I was really impressed. So I thought Coach Howell did a super job getting our defense ready against the tempo, against the looks that UTEP has, with some really skilled and vibrant wideouts. The first time we played man coverage, you saw that we gave up a slot fade, as did Nebraska a year ago. And so we were mindful on any given play. They had players that could go behind us or around us, and we developed Coach Howell and staff developed a really nice plan, and then executed it really from beginning to end. And middle of the third quarter through the fourth, we weren't moving the ball effectively offensively, but the defense played and played and played and played and played and closed out the game, which was really fun to see. Offensively, man, we saw bright spots happening, and we saw diverse approaches between quarterback, between running back, between receiver, between tight end, and unique formations and play calling, etc. And I was super encouraged by that. Had some penalties get in the way of our team, we'll address that as we kind of move on. And then really just the consistency offensively was probably the thing that showed the most down the stretch, where we couldn't really pull away. I was super encouraged by our coverage units, kick and punt coverage. We did a really nice job. And sometimes that's suspect in terms of lanes and discipline and effort or just how it looks. And I was really impressed, besides us, then being able to execute a 2-point play out of our field goal unit with AG. And that was, man, what a cool play that was.
Well, there was just so many really cool things to talk about. I know the penalties to be addressed,
yep.
and the protection of Bryson Barnes. You give up 7 sacks. Some of those were, him eating the ball to keep the clock running and things like that. But overall, talk about the protection and how that can be improved.
Yeah, I think, man, I'm glad you brought that up. Inconsistent, and so we will address that. Give UTEP credit, and so sometimes they just beat us. Other times we just didn't protect the communication, the call, and the assignments. Didn't turn the right way. Back wasn't coordinated with the offensive front. And so those things can be worked on. And then Bryson's really smart. So rather than being careless with the ball, rather than maybe over trying to extend or create, sometimes a good play is the next play. And so I thought he did a really nice job of scrambling for what he could get. Ball security was exceptional by him, but certainly part of the inconsistency between the penalties, I think, would be some of the protection, and I'm glad you brought that up.
A lot of people wondered what the safety position would look like for a lot of different reasons, which we don't need to talk about, but I just thought that between Noah with 11 tackles and Brevin with 8 tackles, and I thought in position, both in the run fit as well as in the passing game, and then their ability to run to the football and make tackles, especially when they're tackling in space. I thought they were outstanding.
Yeah, those kids are so tough. And I love tough kids that just, do what they're supposed to do and are team-first oriented and are so accountable and fierce and play for their teammates. And Brevin Hamblin kind of, roaming in the middle. And then you have BT, Bryson Taylor, and Bobby Arnold on one side of him. And then you have Noah Avenger on the other side. And there's others that were just kind of are waiting in the wings to get their opportunity. It's fun to look out and just see amazing young people. And that's I was so happy for them. I think they tackled well. I think they covered well. I think they leveraged the ball well. They were just, their jerseys were drenched and they were smiling. And that's a cool way to spend a Saturday.
Brevin, I thought, for a big 6'5" kid playing that safety spot,
yeah,
man,
totally.
He could. Does he remind you at all of an Urlacher?
So the position he played tonight was an Urlacher-ish position. But again, we're talking about Urlacher is 6'4", 263 his senior year, led the nation in tackles, power clean, 400 pounds, 4'4", and over a 40-inch vertical. So the height is the same, and Brevin is a really good tackler and a really good football player. Urlacher was a first-round draft pick, so not a fair comparison to any of us. And Brevin's a really good player, so it's hard to throw the Urlacher label in there and have anyone just like that. Because so for our fans that are listening, Urlacher was Rookie of the Year his first year and All-Pro every year he played.
And wearing a gold jacket now.
Yeah, how often does that happen?
Yeah, not often. You know, when we were talking to Noah, he mentioned that he knew what he was getting into because, you know, you were with him at New Mexico. And so when a kid seeks that out and you had, you know, the off season and the work and the grueling effort that you put these guys through, and he's like, no, I want to be a part of that. I want to go that. I want to follow to that. It just goes to show what you've been saying and telling me for a long time, that kids want to be accountable. They want to be pushed hard. They want to be coached hard because they get results like they get tonight.
They do, and they feel themselves develop. And the number one thing that motivates any of us is a sense of improvement. And yeah, you'd say, man, that guy's crazy. He's coming from New Mexico to stay with the same approach. And you could say the same about Javen Jacobs. And you could say the same about Bobby Arnold. And you could say the same about Bryson Taylor. And you could say the same about Hiram Hatch. And but they know what really vigilant and hard work looks like. And they know the results internally they feel. And they also know what it does to a team and how unifying it becomes. And I'm not saying we've arrived. So for all of our listeners, we're just starting. But those are kids that have gone through it, and they wouldn't have it any other way. And that's really fun.
2 quick questions, Coach. I thought, the very first play of the game, Chris Joe gets a TFL.
Yeah.
How about that, a freshman? And talk about some of the growth of he and Carson Touche and some of these young guys that are coming in and making some plays.
Really fun. So Chris Joe, he committed to us at the University of New Mexico and then chose to come here to Utah State with us as a true freshman, all fall camp, every single scrimmage. There's just play after play after play. And so Coach Jorgensen has just been mentoring him really almost one-on-one and trying to expedite his preparation to start a college football game as a true freshman. And I think he handled it really well for his first one. Carson Touche, I couldn't be happier. His father was my offensive line coach, not only at BYU but at the University of Virginia. Carson's sister is my personal assistant, and he wasn't getting playing time at BYU. We knew him. We knew what was inside of him. His spirit, his determination, his will, all the things, and he's a good player. And so comes here. We had 9 different D linemen playing and rotating tonight, and it's fun to see players that are sweating, exhausted, and tired. And let's face it, everyone wants to be needed and wanted, and he's needed and wanted here, and that's great for everybody.
There's Bronco, predictably talking about process over results. No surprise there. He's very consistent. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll go to Provo, we'll go to Pasadena, we'll hear from the Utes and Cougars. Stay with us. Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5 The Zone. Well, the Utes with a blowout win at UCLA. Devon Dampier, 21 of 25 for 206 yards. 2 touchdowns, no picks. We talked about the 57% completion rate's got to go up. For one night, it did. The interception-touchdown ratio has to be better. 2-zip. Kyle would take that 12 weeks in a row. No doubt about it. Devon Dampier joined at the podium by Smith Snowden. Now, the Sky Ridge High product is a corner. But as you'll hear Kyle say in a minute, he's played so well at corner, they're going to use him on offense too because, like Lander Barton, he was really good on offense in high school. And sure enough, he had a touchdown. He had multiple big plays as a receiver. Here's Devon Dampier and Smith Snowden.
Devon, how'd it feel? Man, awesome. First time I got to wear that Ute jersey. It means a lot to this program to be a Ute. So just to be out there with my boys, it was great. I mean, I felt like we were clicking on all cylinders today. We played football at our best today, and continue to stack the days. There's a lot we can learn from and continue to get better.
So what were your expectations coming into this game about how much you were going to play on offense?
I had an idea, so it was nice that I had an idea of what it was going to look like, but I feel like that's where most of my pre-game butterflies came from, was just knowing that I'm going to go out there and play some offense. But feel me, offense went out there, took care of business. It was just a great team win.
Devon, what kind of message do you feel like you made with the way that you guys performed with the run game specifically?
Yeah, again, we've been talking about our O-line all preseason, and, I think they showed it more than I did. Obviously those holes are there, and regardless of who's running that ball, we're going to get the first down. So I think we showed that, we can be very capable of being consistent running the ball.
Devon,
obviously, this seems like a statement game from you. Just what was your mentality walking into this game? Obviously, knowing the preseason hype around you, and for Smith, I mean, just what would you see from Devon just in those moments in the huddle?
Yeah, just to start off, I mean, my personal goal was to come in here and just, let's show that Utah can score on offense too. That was the biggest thing just talked about last year. So, we made it an emphasis that, we're going to play all 4 quarters and we're going to put points on the board. So just for us to do that on our side was great.
Did you run as much as you thought you were? It looked like you were looking to try to get the ball through the air, but maybe had a couple opportunities to run.
Yeah, I play to win. I tell everyone, that's if the situation comes where I got to run the ball, I'm gonna run the ball, and I'm gonna do what I got to do for my boys.
But did you want to make sure that you were throwing it more this game as opposed to maybe running it as much as you did last year?
Yeah, there was no emphasis on it. Whatever was called, I took what the defense gave me.
Devon, how much of an adjustment has it been for you going from last year's experience behind the offensive line, the pressure you faced, to this one where you have a lot of time in the pocket? What has that adjustment been for you and how you execute and operate?
Yeah, I think just the way I'm able to stay in the pocket. A lot of people say there's a 3-second rule for a quarterback. You take about 3 seconds, you should be having to scramble. And with our offense, I'm able to chill back there and find a receiver. And so, I mean, it's a little adjustment for sure.
Devon, how would you say the defensive performance was today?
The defensive performance was great, honestly. There's obviously plays you want to clean up, plays that you wish you could get back, but I think overall, I think we had a great day. There's some tackles that we could have made, but other than that, I think it was a really great game one, a game to kind of make a statement, kind of show people who we are and what this team is about.
Devon, Matt Liner compared you to Kyler Murray on social media. To get that kind of attention, obviously you were under-recruited in your career. I mean, just what does it mean for you to kind of get that comparison so early on in this season?
Yeah, I think that's awesome for sure, but what happens in our building, that's the opinion I care about, how my boys view me, just as a leader and how I am on that field. So, but I love that. That's awesome.
And Smith, just walk me through, I guess, Devon's mentality heading into this weekend. Just what makes him such a special athlete or team?
Yeah, no, Devon's he's a commander of the offense and of this team, really. I was telling him before the game that we're going to rally behind you, Dev, and that's exactly what he did. He went out there, showed out, did his thing, and took care of business.
The same for Smith. That's why we got him on offense. I mean, you see it. When the ball's in his hands, he's able to make plays. So for a player to play defense and offense, huge kudos to him.
Did you get tired out there at all?
A little bit, but it's nothing. You feel me? Shake back.
Smith, you were obviously a part of the last Pac-12 team. UCLA was kind of one of the ones that blew up the Pac-12.
Mm-hmm.
How does something like this feel given this big one?
Oh yeah, this feels great. This feels great to come out here and just handle business. I know the last couple of games that we've been to the Rose Bowl wasn't the outcome that we wanted to, so to walk out with a victory, it's big.
Smith and Devon, obviously, Devon, you weren't a part of last year's team, but I'm sure you've gotten a sense of just how this team's wanted to rebound. How did you guys approach this game? Did you guys view it as a statement of like that season's gone? Walk me through that mentality.
Yeah, no, this game was a statement game for sure. I think everyone on the team had a good idea that it was a statement game and that we wanted to show the nation what this team is about and just take care of business.
Yep, and we kind of had one of our meetings at the end of practice. We made a big emphasis that last year was last year. It's time to move on, and we came out here and. Big mentality was the win for sure. Old man Jaron Compton, he told me, he lost a couple times here, so I made sure, I was like, I got you one. I got you one.
All right, there's Devon, Dampier, and Smith Snowden. Now here's the head coach, Kyle Whittingham. I do believe he loved that 21-play touchdown drive in the third quarter. Here's Kyle loving his offensive line.
Obviously a positive start to the season. Proud of the way the guys played. Offense seemed to be in a rhythm from drive one to the end of the game. I mean, they stayed in that rhythm. Thought Devon did a great job running the offense. Made great decisions. You saw his playmaking ability. Did a great job taking care of the football. Did a great job distributing the football. Kept it when needed to keep it. Thought the defensive guys that played both ways were a big shot in the arm for the offense. And created some really good things, good gains. Third down was incredible. I think we were 14 out of 16 on third down. That's off the charts. I've probably never been involved in a game where we've had that many third down opportunities and converted that high a percentage. So that was a huge part of the success. Obviously ran the ball well, and close to 300 yards. And everything I just said doesn't happen unless your offensive line plays outstanding. So great credit and great tribute to that O-line. Those guys are a big physical group. They were as advertised tonight, and we just got to keep on that trajectory and keep working hard. Like I said, I'm proud of them, but that's only one. But it's a heck of a start to the season. Going to a Big Ten stadium and they get a win that's decisive is a very positive way to start. So, questions?
Kyle, obviously, you talked about having Smith and Lander and all these other defensive guys kind of playing on the other side. Do you expect to have Smith, for example, that much, or was it just kind of carrying the hot hand?
No, that's about the dose that he's been getting the ball in practice. Same with Lander. Jackson Benny had been a little more involved in practice, wasn't as involved tonight as he may be down the road, but those three guys, we got them all on pitch counts and making sure that we don't overdo it. And we're not really sure what that pitch count number is right now. We're just going to play it by ear as we go through the season. I think we'll be able to settle on what a realistic workload is for them. That will also include monitoring and adjusting practice during the week. We got to make sure guys playing 100+ snaps a week, we got to do something during the week to preserve them. And so that's still a work in progress. We've talked with Colorado guys about Travis Hunter extensively, but he's a special guy. I mean, Travis Hunter, there's maybe no one like him in the country, so you can't just model it after that. But those guys definitely added to what we were doing on offense tonight.
Coach, how would you assess Devon Dampier in terms of his ability to manage the pocket and execute in the passing game?
Outstanding. I don't know what his numbers were in the throw game. We didn't have a ton of yards, a couple hundred. 200 yards, and he was 21 or 26. And you talk about a guy that really has worked hard in the off season, because we knew when we took him out of New Mexico, 57% completion percentage needed to improve. The touchdown to interception ratio needed to improve, and at least tonight that did improve. So that was great to see.
Kyle Liner compared Devon to Kyler Murray, just obviously a Heisman winner. I mean,
yeah.
Just what is your reaction to that comment, and how special?
Well, that's a heck of a comparison, and I got a lot of respect for Matt Liner. So coming from him, that means something. But Devon, he's electric. He's a highlight film waiting to happen. You saw him get out of some of those jams. Needs to be a little more judicious at times. There was a couple times he needed to get down, and so we'll continue to preach that. But his game resembles Kyler Murray's a lot. He's not, Kyler Murray's obviously a terrific quarterback, but Devon right now for us is doing a great job.
How would you assess the youth at defensive line, how they performed tonight?
Very well. You said youth, right? Youth, yeah, very well. Aliki Vimahi's our one elder statesman up front at the tackle spot on the interior. Dallas played a lot for us last year, but he was just off a mission. You see a new Dallas this year. He's a whole different guy. He got a little banged up, wasn't able to finish, but we're really excited about Jonah Lea'ea. Poo-Poo, still not real good at pronouncing his last name. I'll keep working on it, but he's going to be a beast. And Carson Kafusi. So got a lot of good young tackles in the program right now on the edge. I thought we had good pressure out of John Henry Daly, out of Logan Fano, Cash Dillon, Lance Holtzclaw, and Paul Fitzgerald. They all played. They all got reps.
How would you assess the defense as a whole?
Very good. And what were the numbers? It was under 250, I believe. 220 total low. They only had to play 50 snaps. And that's because they played third down exceptionally well. UCLA was only 2 of 11 on third down. So, again, we dominated third down on both sides of the ball. Which,
54-yard field goal.
Yeah, the kid's got a strong leg. Like I've been saying, he's still figuring out Division I football and the bright lights and the crowd. You didn't see his capabilities in kickoff like we see in practice. Now, I know it's sea level here. It's not going to be as noticeable, but he's got a lot more in the tank than what you saw tonight, particularly on kickoffs. I would rate his first performance an A+. the flow of the game, the calls had him off balance. Thought the run-pass ratio was outstanding. The RPO facet that he brought and implemented. He's just a masterful play caller. At least he has been and he was tonight. So I hope it doesn't change. We hope he continues down that road.
Now, you've obviously said Devon is a special talent dating back to the spring, but obviously he's flown under the radar in New Mexico, three-star recruit. What do you think this kind of performance does for him in terms of how people recognize his game and put him on, a national level?
Yeah, well, he had to draw the attention of some people tonight. The Matt Leinart comment is, that's a start right there. But Devon Dampier is a competitive kid. He's a hard worker. He's humble. He understands that he just needs to keep getting better and better. And he's a guy that the players love. They've just embraced him, and that's huge when your quarterback is thought of as he is. And not that other ones haven't been here, but they really seem to have taken a liking to him.
Kyle, you obviously went up tempo today on offense, but you also had that drive. It was 20 plays.
21 plays, 10 minutes.
What does that do for your team to be able to have that kind of variation?
Well, first of all, again, that kind of drive doesn't happen without a front that's dominating. And our front really took control of that drive. They had control the whole night, but that's a statement drive, saying, hey, we can lean on you and impose our will if we want. And that was great to see.
Walk me through, I guess, Smith's kind of transition into a two-way role. Do you expect him to play more wide receiver than defense this season, or is it kind of up in the air and just kind of how the game plan goes?
It's a work in progress, but to me it was a no-brainer. Smith's at the point as a defender where he's mastered, not to say he will never get beat or anything like that, but he's mastered his assignments, he's mastered his techniques, his fundamentals, and once that happens, and he was a special offensive player in high school, and so I thought, what the heck, we got to utilize all our resources and put it to Coach Scally first, and he said great, he was on board, and Jason was excited to get him, and so that's how it evolved.
There's Utah football coach Kyle Whittingham. A reminder, don't miss your chance to win big every week on The Zone. This week on Win Ticket Wednesday, win tickets to the Utah State Fair, September 4th through the 14th. Where can you find the Big Yellow Slide, the best corn dog in the world, a butter sculpture, arts and crafts, a rodeo, a demolition derby, and a legendary rock band? Just to name a few. Nowhere but the fair. That's where. Listen to The Zone all day Wednesday for your chance to win. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll hear from the Cougars and Provo. Stay with us. Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5 The Zone. BYU, like Utah and Utah State, picking up the opening week win. Now, the difference is the other two had a chance to be tested, although they both won comfortably. BYU, we always know, is going to be a blowout. So what do you look for in a blowout? What do you see? Sure enough, it was a blowout and a shutout. Here's Kalani Sitake with what he saw over the course of that blowout win against Portland State.
Happy you got the win. Proud of a lot of things I saw in the game. Obviously, I'm going to be a coach and say that it wasn't perfect, and there's a lot of places that we can improve on. But I was really proud of the entire team from beginning to end. And at the beginning, we had some rough times. I mean, I think we punted the first series. Defense gave up some plays, got the turnover, and so the blocked field goal kind of was swung the momentum our way. The guys never looked back afterwards, even. Coming in after halftime, I really liked what our ones were doing, but we knew that game was pretty much done, and so we put our reserve guys in the second half, and I was really proud of the way that they played. Got some really good, valuable reps and great competition that we were able to see from them, and I thought they performed at a high level. So that's going to help our depth, But I wish Portland State best of luck the rest of the way. I mean, I know they got banged up in this game and the game before, so hopefully they can get healthy and be ready to play the rest of their schedule, especially next week. So, but proud of the team and looking forward to next week. I think you can make a lot of improvement from week 1 to week 2, and looking forward to getting that done, watching the film. But overall, just really excited about what we saw from them tonight. So.
Kalani, Portland State had a total of -9 yards on offense through the second quarter and third quarter combined. What do you feel like the defense did specifically that they were able to clamp down to that level at that pivotal stretch in the game?
I think the defense. I mean, they're in the system now, so there's a lot of guys that have been here for a while and spent a lot of time with Jay Hill and the entire defensive staff. Having the whole defensive staff intact and returning was huge for us, and it shows in the way these guys have been ready. I mean, I think a lot of times when you have some turnover and some changes in the coaching staff, you have to get guys used to a new coach, and I think that's harder than what people would think. And so I'm really thankful that we're able to hang on to our coaches, and I think it's going to help us in the long run, especially through the season. But for the depth and for what we're looking for the team, having that consistency in the position group, in the room, who's speaking, was nice, and Jay Hill's done a great job with the defense. I'm really, really happy with what he's done, and looking forward to what they can accomplish even more this year, and especially week 2 when we take on Stanford. Offensively, I thought we did enough that what we needed to do. I mean, I think A-Rod felt like he knew we could run the ball. I think at the end we just wanted to see Bear in that 2-minute situation. I thought he did a great job, and so. But after that, it was kind of we knew to just shut him down, and LJ and Sione and the rest of the guys, and so we had a lot of threes playing in the game too, and so it was a lot of fun.
How did you break down what Bear did? I mean, first chance for a true freshman to play. What did you think of his performance?
Yeah, I thought he did a great job. I mean, I think the physical part of the game was something that once he started getting hit a little bit, then I think he was able to settle down. I think it's hard when you get into this environment. I don't know if they were ready for the stands to be that packed, and there's a huge credit to our fans. They're awesome. I mean, we're not even in school yet, and there's a packed house, and they're excited to watch BYU football. And so I think that could get you a little bit nervous. So I think he was able to settle down, and I think on some of the throws, he wished he can get those back. But overall, I thought he had a good demeanor about him. I thought he had a great presence. The guys felt really good about him leading the offense, and I felt good about how it finished in the first half.
Did you consider putting him in at all in the second half, like to start the second half?
We thought about it, but I think at the end of the first half was kind of like that was enough. I think we wanted to see him in that, and I don't think anyone can blame us for trying to score in a 2-minute situation. So once we saw that, I think it was easy to shut it down. I'm not trying to pad stats. I'm trying to keep guys healthy. And at the same time, you can keep guys healthy, but then work on depth and get some valuable reps. I think it's going to pay off in the long run. We had O-linemen. I mean, there were very valuable reps for those guys, and they were able to have some success. And then we went down the line on our players, and it was a great time for those guys to be in that situation. So I didn't mind it at all. And I just talked to my wife on the phone. She's like, you stop trying to look so disappointed when you score and stuff like that. I was just like, I wasn't disappointed. I was like, let's just run the clock out and, trying to do the Lavelle-like thing, But when the team's rolling and guys are doing what they're supposed to, then success will be there. And so I don't mind what they had what we did in the second half. I talked to Coach Barnum too, and he felt fine with everything. So that made me feel a lot better.
Kalani, when you said there are areas you can improve on, does anything come to mind?
Yeah. Right away, I think it's it's at the end. I just cut you off. It's the penalties. And then I say that, and it's like I don't know if that was any of the ones, but it doesn't really matter. I think we had a couple holding penalties, and then we had one that took away a great return from Cannon DeVries. So there's that, and then a 15-yarder targeting. But I mean, the guys are just really excited and amped up to play, but we have to have better mindset and better control, be more disciplined. We've been really focusing on that. We had a delay game, but we were trying to milk the clock, so I don't blame the guys on that one. They're just trying to milk it too much. But, other than that, I think execution-wise, I think we did, for the most part, the guys actually, all 11 guys on the field played clean football and assignment-sound football. We'll have to watch the film, see how we did fundamentally, if we missed a lot of tackles or not. But I thought the guys were flying around. They looked really good, man. From what I watched and what I saw in all 3 phases, I thought we looked really good and looked really fast, and I'm really excited about that.
Is this the fastest team you've had since you've been here?
I think the numbers will probably tell you that, yeah, when we look at all the stuff and see how quick they run. It's just we need them to be right, though, because if you go the wrong way and you do it fast, you're really wrong. You know what I mean? So, and that took some practicing, but the guys have actually been working really hard on it, and we just got to keep working, though. Stay humble, keep working. I think the guys are excited that their teammates got opportunities to play in the second half. And they were really excited when the guys got to score touchdowns and stuff like that. So we just got to keep it rolling, though. So we're going to nitpick this thing and try to find ways to get better any way we can, because that's just what we do as a staff. But really proud of the entire staff and how hard they worked, and proud of our players and the mental state that they came into the game was awesome.
What do you think of the poise, though, from Bear in plays like that one with Hagan, the 57-yarder, a lot of movement on that play?
Yeah.
He was pretty calm and poised. Like, just is that the maturity that you guys were talking about in camp?
Yeah, and I think I mentioned it before. Like, I felt really comfortable with all our quarterbacks. And so when you saw McKay and Trayson come in the game, they had a very similar demeanor about them and a good presence. And that's a good sign. You know, they're making plays, and I mean, the command of the offense, those guys get it. And so I just have to give hats off to the quarterback room getting that place ready. And then even Cole Hagan came at the end and got some reps too, you know. So trying to figure out what to do, the best thing to do with Emerson, trying to preserve his redshirt year. And then there's a lot of guys that we burned one of the 4 games that we can for the red shirts, but I think they were really valuable, especially at O-line. Those guys got a lot of reps, and D-line got some reps too. So, I mean, it was all around. I think in all 3 phases, the guys were able to get out there and play, and it was nice that we were able to have the game under control and then let these guys roll, and also allow Portland State to try to find ways to make plays. And the guys, man, they kept the momentum going. So really happy with everything.
That kick by Will Perrin was the longest in school history. How comfortable, or how long of a kick do you feel comfortable with him taking in game situations?
How much did he clear it by? Do you know?
A lot.
Pretty good, yeah. He was getting after the ball today. I mean, the kickoffs were. I mean, he had one that we wanted to, kind of pop it up a little bit, and it was like spot on. He's a next level kicker. So, we didn't know what to do right there in that spot, because we were in a position where we either pin punt it and get the ball down and keep them backed up, or just go for the field goal. And I mean, my old teammate Owen Potchman had the record. I think he tied it. So I think we were trying to break the record, but I don't know. Just it seemed like the right thing to do, and he was ready to go. So it's nice to get him that rep. But yeah, we just want to see him kick the ball.
Last couple of questions. Coach Bear dropped his shoulder on a couple of run calls.
Yeah.
Is that something that you guys are wanting to see, or are you trying to teach him to slide a little bit more to preserve his health?
I don't know. It's just, I think it's one of those. It all depends in the circumstance. So I just don't want him jumping too much. You know what I mean? I think he launched into the end zone, but we want to take care of the football more than anything. That's all. But yeah, I don't want the quarterbacks to get contact, but these guys all. I mean, you saw them all. They're ready to run the ball. So it's nice to have athletic quarterbacks that can use their feet.
Jay Martin had a career night on only 8 carries, but what did you make in particular of his game, and then those 2 explosive runs that he had for 44 and 49?
Yeah, I was just really excited about that he was able to break tackles, and that's what we were able to see from him. Throughout the last couple of years, he started to really come into his own as a leader. He's a team captain. He understands the offense. It's nice, man. It's just like, I remember when he was a true freshman, we were trying to get him lined up correctly, and now he's directing everybody else, and I've been really, really impressed with his leadership. So, and he's still physical. He's changed his body a little bit, and man, he's got some speed. So we'll give him a hard time about getting caught in some of those runs, but I just like that he's able to break some tackles.
What's impressed you the most about JT in the interior of the defensive line, to the point where he's alongside with Keanu in the interior?
Yeah, I think those guys work really well together. I think the question everybody had was what's going to happen with our D-line, and I think we have a really good answer with that. I think a lot of the focus goes on Keanu, and so guys like JT and others are going to have to find ways to make plays. I think I give a lot of credit to what Sione Poha has been able to do as a coach, and getting those guys ready, and the entire D-line with Sione Poha and K-Pop and Gary Anderson, Chad Kohaha, those guys got them all ready, man. And they're a young group except for JT. I think he's one of the upperclassmen, but the rest of the guys, I mean, Sione believed in him, and so I'm glad he was able to have his moment and make plays. He was showing some really good moments last year. We feel really good about the entire group, and I'm glad that they were to get a lot of reps. But it was nice to see him and to see JT and Keanu be able to get after it and be physical at the line of scrimmage.
There's the head coach, Kalani Sitake. Now here's the freshman quarterback, Bear Bachmeier.
How would you assess your performance today? What are your thoughts on how you did?
Yeah, I thought it was a great team win. I thought we ran the ball really well. We put up a lot of points, and defense was second to none. So I thought it was a great team win.
What would you attribute to the slow start initially?
I mean, first game in LES, and that kind of happens in your first game. Obviously, we don't want that to happen. Unfortunately, it did. But you kind of adapt, and you end up getting a lot of points, and so yeah.
How comfortable did you feel out there, though, in running those plays? There was some complicated ones, a lot of movement in some of those. What is the comfort level of this offense?
Yeah, pretty comfortable. I think it's pretty easy when you got a great support staff, and you got 10 guys around you that can go.
Was there a specific moment where you feel like you got a bit more settled into the game?
Yeah, I think after that first series, and then we got a special teams touchdown. You kind of get the jitters out, and you kind of be mindful and present in the moment, and so kind of just get comfortable with that.
Were you hoping to play in the second half?
I was hoping, but I understand why.
5 touchdowns, 3 passing, 2 rushing. Not a bad debut. How nice was it to get the ball in the end zone that many times?
Yeah, it was great. I think it's a testament to the team and first off in defense, and then the 10 guys around me, make my job easier. So.
How many family members did you have here? Was it estimate for your start?
We had a lot. I think it was about like 10 to 15. I think. So, they're great support staff, and I love them. And so yeah, it was great.
How nice is it to have guys like LJ Martin and Sione Moa in the backfield with you to get that ground attack going?
Yeah, it's really nice. It starts up front and but when you got LJ Martin and Sione Moa, it makes your job a lot easier.
Take us through the second rushing touchdown. Looks like you can scoop pretty well out there and make a guy miss.
Yeah, you kind of go back to your innate behavior, and you kind of just want to make some guy miss and go get in that end zone.
Did linebacker instincts take over a little bit?
A little bit, yeah.
Kalani did mention it seemed like you kind of settled in a little bit after you took a hit or two. Is there something about just like kind of being involved in real football where you go, okay, like I'm here, I'm present, I'm ready?
Yeah, it's football, and you want to get hit. I think it's you just get hit, and you're in the game, and yeah, you kind of just settle in.
Life has moved really fast for you, and you just seem to do everything with ease and a level of calm. Where does that come from? Is it family, your coaches? What has made you ready for the spotlight and everything you're going through right now?
Yeah, I think it was just the way I was raised. I have a great father, great mother, and then 3 older siblings that I look up to, and a younger brother I'm just trying to be a great role model for. But growing up, it was, it's hectic, and you try and just stay calm, but yeah, you kind of just carry that through football and through life.
You gonna be able to get to sleep tonight, or does that a night like this even rattle you at all?
Yeah, I'll get some sleep. I think I'll go eat dinner with my family, but yeah, after I'll get some sleep.
What's it like running out of the tunnel in front of 64,000 fans for the first time? Just wondered what that moment was like before the game.
It was crazy. It was a surreal moment. You see it just blue around you, and kind of heart starts beating a little. So it was a great experience.
How would you describe the workload you took on this week in preparation for this first start? How late were you staying up just to be ready for this moment?
Yeah, the workload is always going to be heavy, especially being a quarterback at BYU. Again, I think I test the help to my support staff and Coach Mitchell, Coach A-Rod, and other quarterbacks in the room that lift some weight off and makes it easier.
Any other questions?
What do you want to improve for next week? What's the next step for you?
Yeah, I think. Obviously, I think that our first series could definitely be better. You want to get first downs, and that happens in the first game. But I think we can come with our hat on fire and go score a touchdown in that first series.
There's Bear Bachmeier. When we come back, all the headlines. What is trending is next.